Welcome back. While some countries are imposing travel bans in response to the new COVID-19 variant, SA Tourism says our borders are still open and ready to receive all tourists. Let's speak to Acting SA Tourism CEO Sthembiso Dlamini. Thank you very much for your time this evening. So, given the amount of concern around the number of mutations this new variant shows, do you think the travel bans on South Africa are justified?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers at home. I think we all know that as a tourism, we've been working very closely with the industry to get South Africa back on track, and particularly because that we've just been taken off the red list with the UK market and other important source markets. We do not think that it is justified at all. We just think that key source countries acted very quickly or very swiftly in terms of putting us on the red list. And we do know, as we applaud our scientists who have actually worked very hard in actually discovering the new variant, we do think that a lot of discussion should have actually happened before they actually put us on this red list. We've worked so hard with our industry, we've worked hard with our partners in market to put South Africa back on the map in terms of getting South African tourism or tourism industry in our destination back on track. In actual fact, the work that we've done in the past couple of weeks has seen a lot of travelers getting interested in traveling back into South Africa. We've seen airlines showing interest in terms of flying back into South Africa, direct flights into South Africa. So we think that the decision to actually put a ban to travel to South Africa is rather unfortunate.
Unfortunate though it may be, that is the current situation. We as a tourist destination are very reliant on international tourists coming here. But added to that is the possibility that the government or the NCCC might impose harsher protocols and restrictions on local travel, banning interprovincial travel. Have you been in any consultations with regards to the possibility of a ban on interprovincial travel? And how would that affect the likelihood of international travellers perhaps changing their minds if they had not been put off coming to South Africa? Would a ban on international or local travel put them off entirely?
Look, we do believe that at the point where we're still dealing with the international ban of South African travel, domestic tourism remains the anchor in terms of our tourism industry. So we, as South African tourism, would like to encourage obviously South Africans to still go ahead with their plans to travel their country and explore their country, because we believe that domestic tourism is at the heart of actually ensuring that the sector recovers. In actual fact, we said with this crisis we've got to ensure that domestic tourism becomes the base of the tourism economy. So we're hoping, we're also crossing our fingers that the ban of interprovincial travel would not, come now, and we still encourage South Africans to still go ahead with their plans that they've made to travel, their country during the festive season. We are in the middle of our summer campaign, where we're encouraging South Africans to actually take up space to travel their destination, their country, but also to explore, experiences and products that we have in South Africa. And in doing this, we ensure that we keep the jobs, within the tourism industry, because the international world has closed us off. As we begin to, still continue to negotiate for them to open for travelers to come into our destination, we encourage South Africans to actually keep the industry going by traveling our country. And we're hoping, all of us are hoping, that obviously after the meeting of the NCCC, we'll be able to actually hear the good news that South Africans can still travel, domestically, so that we can keep the industry going.
Sthembiso, recently we've seen a lot of political rallies with thousands of people that prior to the local government elections. Do you think that now the tourism industry is going to have to pay the price for reckless politicking over the last month?
Look, we've gone up very clear in terms of supporting vaccination, the vaccination drive, and supporting what the government is doing in terms of ensuring that South Africans get vaccinated. Even today, as South African tourism, we still encourage South Africans to actually go out there in their numbers to actually vaccinate, because we believe that it is if the country now or the citizens go in their numbers to vaccinate, we get to a point where we actually would reach our herd immunity. However, we do realize that that there's still a lot of vaccination hesitancy in the citizens. Hence, we, as tourism industry, we are out there supporting a government's call for jab for tourism, but particularly as an industry, to say let's encourage a lot of South Africans to go out there and vaccinate. And I think it's important for us to do that, because as you know, that tourism industry supports a lot of jobs in the country. I mean, quite recently, the Statistician General has now announced an unemployment rate, sitting at 44%. We're saying if we actually get the tourism industry to start, operating again, we've got an opportunity to actually cap the unemployment rate in our country. We do know that if you look at the numbers in 2019, the industry itself supported about 700,000 jobs directly, and indirectly about 1.5 million jobs. And we think that if we do that in numbers and still ensure that we vaccinate and still ensure that at least we get the industry going, we will be able to actually ensure that the jobs that have been supported by the industry actually comes back to play. And I think at this point in time, it's important for us to, as a country, to stand together and united, and ensuring that because we have now been subjected to these bans, and ensure that we actually encourage all South Africans to go out there and jab, so that we can go back to normalcy and the tourism industry can begin to soar again.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Acting South Africa Tourism CEO Sthembiso Dlamini speaking to us about how the South African tourism sector is responding to news of the new COVID-19 variant that has led to some countries imposing a travel ban on South Africa and other SADC countries.